do this.
Oh my god, people, oh my god, the NX was just revealed a few minutes ago. I got up so early. I'm tired. But I gotta freaking see what the hell this thing is. So, yeah, I'm gonna do another audio reaction to it. So I'm not gonna do any webcam for this, because I have no way to do that for right now. But, yeah, anyways, we're going to cut past all this introductory crud, and even though you just sat there with 30-second long introduction, but yeah, let's see what the hell this Nintendo NX thing really is. Let's get started with the video right about now. Okay, so what is this? Nighttime. Dude seems to be staying up pretty late. He's playing Zelda. What the hell is the controller he's holding, though? Breath of the Wild. Nintendo Switch. Oh, the docking system. And the controller. Whoa, that's a... Oh, crud, dude. That's the new controller. Goes out. Shouldn't you be walking your dog? Oh, whoa. Okay. What? Wow, that's a tiny C stick on the plane. Okay, there's an SD card. Is that the cartridge? Looks like a normal SD card. He's got a little stand. Okay, that's awesome. Earphone. Wait, is that Skyrim? That's Skyrim, isn't it? I don't know. I've never seen a whole lot of gameplay of it. What the hell game is that? Is that Skyrim? I need to look that up. I need to consult my Skyrim friends. I think that's Skyrim. You can play Skyrim on the Nintendo Switch? I was about to call that next because I just... Nintendo Switch. What the heck kind of game is that? And you're playing Mario Kart. That's Mario Kart 8, isn't it? I think it looks like it. I can't tell. It looks familiar. Basketball. I wonder those controllers must be really comfortable. Some basketball game. Are we getting another EA Sports game? What are those controllers like, though? If 4 people can use them. Ooh, the new Mario game. Whoa, it looks actually really cool. What type of gameplay is it, though? It looks 3D world-ish. And these amiibos. I see the amiibos right there, Nintendo. You're not being that sneaky. She's taking it with her to her friends. Hey, guys, check out this new thing I have. Those are tiny controllers. Are you sure a whole lot of people are going to be able to use that? Some sort of strategery going on here. Splatoon. The actual controller, actually, I didn't notice that. That's an actual regular controller. Looks pretty nice. Are you serious? Was Splatoon an esports game? I don't remember that. Like, the closest thing to an esports game I ever seen was the Nintendo Championships. Nintendo Switch. I love how the logo is just everywhere. I'm not too big on that. The Nintendo Switch. Huh. March 2017. Nintendo. And it's red. What does that say? I can't read that. Copyright 2016. And thus I am back, people. Yes, it's, as you saw in the video, it has been a few hours because real life and stuff like that. If it wasn't for real life, I would have finished this video by now, and I would be one of the millions of people who have made reaction videos and impression videos about all that, you know, involving the Nintendo Switch, the newest console. One of the most interesting things I've ever seen to come out of Nintendo, and it should be one of the most interesting things since it's their new freaking console. So literally the entire day I've just been watching a bunch of reaction videos, impression videos, reviews, analyses about the whole reveal trailer, and so far about 90% of people have been pretty supportive about it. Most people just complaining about it and saying, well, the last 10% just being of people that are complaining about it, saying that, this is a bad idea and how Nintendo's pretty much digging their own grave with this, which I have no clue why. I mean, this is a revolutionary new concept. You get to take your games on the go. Come on, how is that not a great idea for it? And this isn't even like, a portable and a home console version of the same game. It's literally one game for both, sides of the gaming market. So, this is perfect. So, the reason why people are complaining about this, I have no clue why. If Nintendo doesn't market it correctly, then yeah, then you could say that. But as of right now, from what I've seen and from how people are hyping this thing up and how they're talking about it, I really don't see any problem with it. So, what is the Nintendo Switch? What did I think about it? Well, when I woke up this morning, it was after 7 o'clock because I was tired and I stayed up all night for various reasons. So I woke up after 7 o'clock, so I didn't watch it live, but I did watch it afterwards. Like literally the introduction part when I was reacting to the trailer itself, that was like maybe 10 or 20 minutes after it had debuted. But the first thing I had seen was that the NX was actually called the Nintendo Switch, and I was like, what the heck kind of name is that? Nintendo Switch. I mostly didn't like it because it was such a generalized term. It was like kind of that whole like, oh, the Fine Brothers are trying to copyright the word reaction. It's like, you can't do that because it's a really generalized term. It's like, that's what I thought about Nintendo Switch. It's like, that's not very distinctive or whatever. It's there's light switch, on and off switch and all that stuff. Is like, Nintendo Switch, okay, what is that supposed to mean? But then I thought about it more as the day went on, and it's just, it's kind of a perfect name for it. It's simple, it's to the point, it's truthful, because it's, a console where you can switch between two different modes of playing and all that stuff. There's a lot of possibilities with this console that I've been looking over, and I'm going to get into those details right now. So for the console itself, it's pretty cool, actually, from what we've seen of it. Yeah, it's a hybrid console, like everybody's been saying it is. All the leaks and the rumors and all that we've been hearing over the last few months, so that's true. I do like how there's a lot of different controllers for this. Like there's the controller, which is essentially just like a plastic holder, which I'll be showing on the screen right now, just so that way you know what I'm talking about. The actual parts that connect, that have the buttons and all that, are known as the Joy-Con controllers. There's one way of playing it. One is through this little holder, this little switch grip, I think it's called, where you put the Joy-Cons into it, and it kind of emulates a standard controller. But then there's also the Switch Pro controller, which is similar to the Wii U Pro controller or the Wii Classic controller. That of course, is a lot more standard. It's a lot easy. I think it would be a lot easier to hold because I'm looking at the Switch grip right now, and I can't really see myself having a comfortable time with this. In fact, the other controller options there are just using the Joy-Cons themselves, like mini Wii remotes. There's the one-player perspective, like what we saw with the dude playing Skyrim. He was able to use both of them individually without the grip. That one looked kind of weird. I don't know how you're going to be able to do that. Because not all the... Because, you got the second control stick there, and then you got the D-pad below. I guess it depends on what games utilize it and all that stuff. And then there's, of course, the grip itself, like I said. Might be kind of weird to use. and all that. And then there's like using the Joy-Cons themselves, but for multiplayer, that looks even more uncomfortable. Because I do like how they're not really symmetrical like on the Wii U, but they still seem pretty small. So how you're gonna be able to use both of them as individual controllers is kind of weird. I don't know how that's gonna work. So the two control schemes that I'm probably most likely going to be using the most are the ones where the Joy-Cons go on the sides of the screen and the Pro Controller itself. So yeah, those are my thoughts on the controllers. It looks really simple to use, to be honest. You see the video where everybody's just slipping in the Joy-Cons. They're slipping in the screen into the dock, which looks pretty compact enough. That all looks really cool. It looks easy to use. With the exception of the Joy-Cons as individual controllers. Those are probably the most finicky things I saw. But aside from that, everything else seems pretty streamlined. It all looks really easy to use. You know, no instruction manual needed, maybe. I don't know. But the size of the screen itself, I think, is pretty interesting. Looks maybe around the size of the gamepad. Looks portable enough. I wouldn't mind carrying this thing around with me. I obviously had to take good care of it because it does look like if I dropped it, something is bound to break. But I don't know. I just hope that when it comes out, it's easy to carry. It's lightweight, and it looks. I mean, I'm actually looking through some different analysis videos of it, and I'm seeing some pretty interesting things about them. There's been a lot of really interesting things about it. Like, you know, people have been questioning, you know, is it going to have motion control or whatever? Like, do the Joy-Cons have motion control stuff? A lot of people are asking that because Splatoon itself is a game that's based around the gyroscope stuff and the Wii remote and the Wii U gamepad and all that. Honestly, to me, Splatoon is like the only game which I like and completely 100% for using the motion controls for controlling the game and all that stuff. Like, honestly, I don't think I could play Splatoon any other way. I have tried using the Pro Controller with it. It just seems really awkward. So I like using the motion controls, and that's just the question, if it's going to have any type of motion control. I don't mind if it has motion control. I just hope that they don't do what they did with the Wii and the Wii U and like make it the main gimmick about it, because, you know, that was like a really iffy thing. It was cool in 2006 and 7, but I don't know. It didn't really stick around a whole lot after that. And if they do include it here, I hope it's just used to enhance the game rather than, you know, make it mandatory to play the game. Now, the reveal trailer covered a lot of the rumors that have been brought up about the NX over the last few months. One of them being the cartridge thing, which when I saw that it was pretty much confirmed, I was like, oh my god, that's going to be really awesome. I was actually able to see a few of the stills of of the guy putting the cartridge in, and a couple of other photos of the cartridge itself. It looks like a sort of mix between an SD card and a 3DS cartridge, which seems pretty standard enough, though. You know, SD cards are everywhere, and 3DS is Nintendo's latest console where it uses cartridges and all that, so I could see them using that. And from what I know from what I've been hearing from different people who are tech savvy on YouTube and all that, flash drives, SD cards, and all that, and cartridges are pretty easy to use, are pretty cheap, and can do a lot of things that CDs and Blu-rays cannot do. And they can hold a lot more information. They're easier to process and all that. So you know, it's not like back in the 90s or whatever when cartridges were pretty much the easiest thing to do, because, you know, CD technology was still pretty new and all that, so not a whole lot of people knew how to use them or, you know, what they can do. Like, hell, even if you're playing PlayStation 1 games nowadays, there are some problems with that. I keep hearing about audio cutouts and glitches and all that stuff. I mean, I played some PlayStation 1 games on my friend's PS3, and there was a lot of problems with it. So, yeah, back in the day, it was not really that marketable. It's just that the PS1 just happened to take off with it, and it left the N64 in the dust because the N64, you know, was using cartridges. You know, the Sega Saturn also used CDs and all that, and then that was pretty much the standard since then. And now we're going back to cartridges, which is really exciting. Now, the reason why they're using cartridges is most likely because it's a portable device. They're very you know, easy to carry and hold. You know, because I did used to own a PSP. I didn't own a Vita for obvious reasons. I did used to own a PSP, and I only ever owned one game for it. Like that's the one game I ever owned for it and ever played on it. And I really did not like carrying that around. Like the disc itself, the UMD disc, redundant. The case that the UMD disc came around. I liked carrying my DS and 3DS cartridges around. I could put my 3DS cartridges all together in a single little pouch that I have. So that way, if I ever wanted to play them, I could just pull one out and then put it in. And that's pretty much what the Nintendo Switch is doing with its cartridges. You know, it's a home console. You're going to be taking it out everywhere with you. And yeah, so kudos to that about using cartridges. The other feature that a lot of people are wondering about the hardware for the Nintendo Switch is does it have a touchscreen like the Wii U gamepad does? You know, whether it's resistive or I forgot what the other type of touchscreen is, but like I know the difference between the two. Is it going to be either version, either type of touchscreen? And I'm going to say no on that, mostly because of the fact that you got to put the screen itself into the dock, in which you can't really touch anything, as you can clearly see from the screenshots and the videos that we've seen. You can't touch it really at all. So I'm doubting it's going to have a touchscreen on that. So that's probably going to be, yeah, that's a no. Definitely on the touchscreen. Motion control is still debatable, but I want to say that they've probably ditched the touchscreen. Now, about the software, stuff like that, and I'm not talking about the games yet. I do want to talk about the games. But software features like streaming or, you know, it being region locked and all that other stuff, the online stuff, that is debatable. I've been hearing some rumors that it's region free, which I hope to crud, because honestly there is no excuse in the year 2016 or in that time, year 2017, that any console should be region locked and all that. Okay, if the PS4, the most successful console right now, is region free, and they can get away with that, you know, then what's the excuse of Nintendo? Okay, you're not being held back in any way by making it a region locked, or by making it region free, I should say. Region locking is really detrimental to it, so I hope that's the case. Online is probably going to be a lot better. It's going to be interesting, though, how it's going to be handled, since you could take it out wherever you go, though. And streaming, though, there's actually one button on the Switch grip that hasn't been identified yet, which could potentially be a share button like the one that's on the PS4. I mean, that would be interesting. I would like to stream games straight from my console. I mean, I could do it either way, whether I have to plug it into my Elgato HD capture or you know, some other method. But streaming directly from the console would be really awesome. But that, again, like I say, this is all subjective. We have yet to hear anything about this stuff, and there's some other points that I really want to talk about. The way the trailer itself was made was pretty well done, actually. They communicated what the Switch is. They communicated how it's supposed to be used pretty well. I like the demographic they're trying to reach out to now. With the fact that there's like no kids playing it, pretty much everybody is either like, you know, in their late 20s or beyond in most cases. That's actually a good sign, because there's mostly adult gamers out there. So yeah, it would make sense to try to, you know, come back in touch with that specific demographic, because not a whole lot of kids these days are. I don't want to say they're not playing games, but, you know, they don't have, you know, incomes of any sort. So, you know, there's no way they're going to be buying their own games and all that stuff. So you gotta market out towards the adults and all that stuff, because back to the hardcore gamers, the pro gamers, and all that stuff, to show that that's what they're all about and stuff like that. So let's just hope that like in the coming years that they stick with that whole business plan. And I think that's just really cool. There's a lot of attention to details in the trailer that I really liked. I liked how one part of the trailer they showed amiibos just sitting right there on a desk. Like, oh boy, there's probably going to be some amiibo connectivity. Otherwise, why would the lady have the amiibos right there? But how those will be used, I don't know. We haven't seen anything about an NFC reader yet or whatever, like the one that's built into the Wii U gamepad or the new 3DSs, the new 3DS XLs or whatever type of 3DS it is. But that's one thing. And then the other thing that I really liked that they were showing off is the games that they had that were supposedly going to come out for the console and all that. Holy crud, because the games, honestly, that they showed off are some games that I'm actually really excited for. The first one they showed off, which was actually a really clever tie-in, was the footage that they had for Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. It's cool because this is one of the first Nintendo first-party games that we know for a fact was coming out for the NX, and here they are showing it off, and they are like, oh, is he playing the Wii U version? No, he's playing the NX version, the Switch version. Actually, at that point, it was the Switch. So, yeah, anytime I talk about the NX, I'm talking about pre-Switch announcements. So, yeah, they were showing off Breath of the Wild. That looked really interesting. Didn't look too much different from what I've seen of the Wii U version. It did look a bit crisper, I guess. That was pretty cool. It does, better resolution and all that stuff. So that's a good thing. And then the next game that they showed off, which really surprised me, as you heard, was Skyrim, made by Bethesda. In fact, that's another thing I should have talked about, was all the third-party support that apparently has been announced for the console. Bethesda had Elder Scrolls 5, Skyrim on there, playable right there on the console, both in handheld and home console forms. Although I've been hearing that apparently Bethesda did not confirm that it was going to be on the Switch, which really confuses me. I don't understand why they would show it off on the Switch if it hasn't been confirmed to be playable on the actual console. And by playable, I mean there's no indication that says they say that they're thinking about putting it on there, but they don't have any real confirmed games for it yet. So I'm really wondering why they showed it off in the first place, if that's the case. I'm thinking it's because, just to show that, oh, Bethesda, we're going to be putting games on the Switch. We're interested in doing that. So here, to prove it, we are going to have one of our most popular games, Skyrim, in the trailer for the Nintendo Switch. So, okay, that's pretty cool. That would be awesome if it did end up on the system, but still kind of a weird move that they would do that, even though it's not confirmed to be coming to the console just yet. The next game that they were showing off was a Mario Kart game, and I say a Mario Kart game because I'm not exactly sure what type of which Mario Kart game this is. I don't know if this is just a revamped version of Mario Kart 8. I don't know whether if it's a Mario Kart 9 or whatever that one's going to be called. The reason why I say that is because there's two things about it that stick out. It's that Mario Kart 8, or well, I should say that Mario Kart on the Switch has King Boo as a playable character, even though King Boo is not in Mario Kart 8, whether it be in the DLC or in the base game itself. And also you can hold two items, which you also cannot do in Mario Kart 8. So either this is just an enhanced version of Mario Kart 8 that's just going to be put on the Nintendo Switch, which just has extra features and extra characters and all that stuff, or else it's just Mario Kart 9 that just has some, it's got more characters, it's got more quote-unquote gimmicks that are going to be put into it, which, is pretty exciting, though. It's like, it looks really nice still. I thought it was Mario Kart 8 mostly because the graphics looked really similar and the gameplay looked really similar to it. And also, I think they were showing off a stage that was Yoshi's Yoshi Circuit from Double Dash. I don't want to go into too much detail into any of these game trailers, by the way, mostly because, this is going to be a pretty long video if I do that. So, yeah, I'll actually go into that. I'll go into game analysis later on in the video. Now, the next game that was shown off in the trailer was NBA 2K17, I believe. I don't really play that many 2K games, especially sports games, especially the realistic sports games, by the way. So I can't believe I said EA in the reaction video. I didn't know what to say, really. When I think sports games, I think EA. But that also is another case, like with Bethesda and Skyrim, where it's not confirmed to be coming to the to the Switch. It's just there to show that 2K is interested in the Switch and that they will be putting games onto it. So again, why they showed it off in the trailer, even though it's not confirmed to be coming to the Switch, don't know. Oh well. It'd be cool if they came to it. I probably wouldn't pick it up, but whatever. And then the next game that they showed off, which is the one that really excited me a lot, is the new Mario game for Nintendo Switch, which looks really awesome. I gotta say, from the few seconds we've seen of it, even though it's not, there's not a whole lot of stuff shown off about it, it still looks really good. From what we've seen from the gameplay, I honestly couldn't tell at first what type of game it was. I couldn't tell if it was like Super Mario 3D World. I couldn't tell if it was like Super Mario Galaxy, because some of the Mario himself, the animations look like they were something out of 3D World. The graphics look like something that would have been in 3D World, especially in the second level that they showed off. The level geometry just looks like a Super Mario 3D level in general. And by Super Mario 3D, I mean 3D Land, 3D World, those two things. But then I looked through some of Emily Rogers' stuff, and apparently, yes, there was a Mario game that was supposed to be showed off for the Switch's reveal, but the Mario game would not have anything to do with the 3D game, with the Super Mario 3D games, or the Galaxy games, and I don't see Flood anywhere, or any paint goops that you got to be cleaning up, so that means that most likely a lot of it is being taken from Super Mario 64. They're going back to their roots for 3D Mario games. And I look at the trailer again. It does look like he has there's similar physics here to Super Mario 64. The animation, I look closer at the running animation. It does look like something that was out of Super Mario 64. Type of game it is, I don't know. I would really like it if it was like an open world 3D Mario game. Or something in the style of like maybe Banjo-Kazooie or Ukulele, Have it be Mario 64, but like improve on the formula a bit more is what I would like, and expand on what we know about 3D Mario games, have some cutscenes in there, have a bit of a stronger story in there, even though I doubt that's going to be the case. The graphics on it look really nice. I really like the Hispanic style level that was in there. I would not expect that out of a Mario game, a freaking Dia de los Muertos based level. And again, I don't want to go too far into describing the game and then analyzing it all and all that stuff. I'll probably go into that at a different time. But from what I've seen, it looks really awesome, and I'm really hyped for that game. That's another game that I'm really hyped for. And then the next game that they showed off was another game that looks really cool is Splatoon, of course, but this time it's being played on the Switch. I'm getting confused with the names here. Boy, oh boy. It is hard to say. It is hard to switch between the NX and the Switch. Mostly because we've been calling it the NX for a while. But yeah, it's nice to know that it has a name. Whether it's dumb or not is up to us, but it's up to you. But whatever. Anyways, on to Splatoon. Now, similar to Mario Kart, as mentioned earlier, it's not known whether this is supposed to be a sequel to it or just a revamped like port of it or something like that, which has new features. Mostly because a lot of people are saying that there is a the level that was shown off in it does not look very familiar to any of the levels shown out that are in original Splatoon or whatever, like the map that you would shoot around, and also the hairstyles of the Inklings are different as well. So that was something that you couldn't do in the original Splatoon. So that's probably either an added feature for the port, or else you'll be able to do that in the sequel. Again, we'll have to find out about that. And also, that's the thing about the whole architecture of the Switch's controls and all that. How it's going to be played, like I mentioned before, Splatoon relied heavily on the touchscreen and the gyroscope, the motion controls and all that. Whether or not the Switch is going to have any of that stuff is up to debate, or else may not happen at all. But it's going to be interesting to see. I'm seriously thinking that this is probably going to be a sequel to Splatoon that doesn't rely on those game mechanics. They wanted to try making a revamped version of Splatoon, but then they realized, oh well, the control scheme we have going for the Switch in general isn't really compatible with Splatoon's gameplay. So let's just make a brand new sequel that's based around the Switch. How about that? So yeah, if that's the case, then I'm totally looking forward to that also. And now I want to get into the third-party support that we got going for the Nintendo Switch and all that, which they've got like a pretty impressive list of developers and stuff that's on here right now. They got 505 Games, they got Activision, they got Arc System Works, they got Atlas, Bandai Namco, Bethesda. That's a really surprising one right there. And then Capcom, once again, Codemasters, EA, they're back to supporting Nintendo. They left during the Wii U cycle, but I guess they're coming back. And then there's From Software, Frozen Byte, Game Trust, Grasshopper Manufacturer, Gung Ho, Hamster, NT Creates, Koei Tecmo, Konami. Konami still making games. Level 5, Marvelous, Maximum Games. I'm not really too familiar with a whole lot of these developers and all that stuff for a lot of reasons, but it's something. But I'm just really excited for seeing all these different developers, showing up and actually developing for a Nintendo console, because Nintendo's kind of missed out on a whole lot of third-party support since the N64, and it's cool to see a lot of these guys coming back for it. So yeah, Bethesda, Square Enix, which is another really surprising supporter of all that, because Square Enix, again, there's been a lot of rumors saying that the Final Fantasy games, like Final Fantasy VII, the remake of it, Final Fantasy 15, Final Fantasy 14, a bunch of all these, Dragon Quest games, the most recent ones, most likely going to be coming to the Nintendo Switch. So Square Enix being on board, I think that pretty much kind of confirms it a whole lot. And then different engines here. We got the Havoc, we got Unity, we got Cryware. There's these are a lot of developers that have pretty much skipped out on Nintendo's previous consoles for various reasons, and it's awesome to get to see so many of them here. And I'm excited. Like seriously, there's so many games that are developed by these people that are available for other consoles that that I've always been curious about. Like, I have a PS4 and I got not Skyrim. I got Fallout 4 pretty recently. Got to try it out because I've been curious about it, and yeah, so now I don't have to buy a Sony console. I could just get a Nintendo Switch, depending on if these developers, deliver and, publishing games onto the Nintendo Switch would really help the Switch itself out, because like I said, Nintendo's not very good with their third-party supporters, or at least haven't been when it came to like the N64 and onward. So I hope this is a change of pace, and we'll get to see a lot more support for Nintendo's newest console from now on, because that'll really help, because now people won't be going to the PS4 or to the Xbox One or to the PC, because they want to play, let's say, you know, the enhanced version of Skyrim now, you can get it on the Nintendo Switch, depending, that is, if it ends up being confirmed for it. Like I said, it wasn't confirmed for it, but I'm pretty sure it's going to come to the console because they showed it off, because I think that would be a really stupid move if they didn't do that. And that is pretty much where I'm going to end it for right there, this video, guys. We're pushing 40 minutes. That's a pretty long time. You know, and just analyzing the trailer and going over all the stuff that was showed off and all that, discussing what I would like, what I liked, what I didn't like, and all that stuff. Even though I'm pretty supportive of the Switch from what I've seen, I think it's going to do well. I think it'll do better than the Wii U. The trailer did a good job of communicating all the stuff that the Switch is about, what games could possibly come out for it. And today was a really good day for Nintendo fans, I should say. It made my day. I liked what I saw. I loved seeing how everybody reacted to it, whether it be good or bad. All the analysis and all that stuff, all the theories and speculation that came out of it. Today was really enjoyable and entertaining and educational for me. So, yeah, good luck, Nintendo, with the Switch. I approve of it. I cannot wait to get my hands on it. You know, March cannot get here any sooner. And, yeah, so for you guys, what did you guys think about the Nintendo Switch? Did you guys like what you saw? Was it an interesting concept? Will you be getting it? Will you not be getting it? Are you part of the haters? Put your comments and your opinions down below in the comments, like I said. I'm being redundant right now. So yeah, so guys, thanks a lot for putting up with me for the last close to 40 minutes and all that. I hope you liked what you saw and what you heard. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Also, thank you very much for joining me, and I'm most likely going to be doing a lot of game analysis and stuff like that, because there is a lot of stuff I still want to talk about that I couldn't get to in this video. So, yeah, look forward to all that stuff. Hopefully I get to doing all that soon, and the hype is real. Have a good day.